I hope you reach out with the good news and the bad. Let the circuit be unbroken as we enter this school year together, energized with the strength of community and the power of kindness, empathy, and understanding.
Hello, welcome to The Perch, a Kinkaid podcast where we highlight authentic voices, expert insights, and meaningful conversation. The Perch brings Kinkaid's mission to life through stories of education, leadership, and community. Let's get started. Thanks for tuning in to the inaugural episode of The Perch. I'm Mike Mari, and today we'll be talking about this special back-to-school season at Kinkaid, and later we have an original poem written and recited by Kinkaid's faculty Poet Laureate. Joining me today is Kinkaid's head of school, Mr. Jonathan Eades. Jonathan, welcome to the podcast.
So delighted to be here. Big moment for us, our first podcast, Mike.
We're also joined by middle school teacher and 2025 Poet Laureate, LaVohn. Karen, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here to join this podcast.
So, Jonathan, let's start with you. Can you share some thoughts about what this season means for you and for our community?
I absolutely love the rhythm of a new school year. There's so much renewal and hope and excitement and optimism that goes into that. You know, in May, we are celebrating and sending off our seniors, and then we go away for the summer, and then we come back and we launch a new school year, a new chapter in the history of our amazing school, and crown new seniors and welcome them to the leadership of our school and begin anew. We welcome new faculty and staff, returning students, but then new students and new families to Kinkaid. And there's so much that I think Kinkaid is special for, certainly our 3As, but also I think I would highlight the sense of community. And so that's what is so special about this time of year is as family, we're coming back together and bringing in new families, welcoming them to the Kinkaid Falcon family. But additionally, this summer with the Hill Country flooding, I think there's an extra sense of strength in being with each other and comfort and grace that I'm sensing. It's been so amazing to have our students back on campus. The energy is just, it's beautiful. I mean, it really, really just puts wind in all of our sails to see our students back at Kinkaid and celebrating each other and all the hugs, the smiles. It's all of that. It's really, really hard to put into words. But then on top of that, we also have an additional layer of excitement this school year that's different because we're opening a new high school here at Kinkaid this year and some athletic facilities, middle school upgrades. All divisions are on the receiving end of our all-in campaign. So it really is a special time. And so it's a renewal. We got a blank canvas, if you will, and with the faculty, staff, the kids, and our parent community and our alumni community, I'm excited to see what we paint, what we write, a new chapter for our school.
Beautifully said, Jonathan. Can you also tell us a little bit about wellness here at Kinkaid? I know that's going to be big focus for all of us here.
Absolutely is. Part of that renewal and the cycle of a new school year, it's really almost like a New Year's and New Year's resolution. We as a community are able to come together and say, what are we going to prioritize for the health of us individually and collectively as a community? A great opportunity to really start anew and commit to healthy sleep hygiene, for example, nutrition, just all of those parts and pieces as we begin a new school year, whether that be exercise. I've committed to getting my steps, and I'm now counting my steps every day. And so that looks different for everybody, but that is part of that renewal is recommitting to healthy lifestyle.
Thanks, Jonathan. Now, Karen, what's the first week of school look like for you and your students inside the classroom?
So this year I am teaching 6th grade math, and 6th grade is really kind of a special place to be because we are getting a bunch of new students coming into Kinkaid and they're getting to know all the classmates who've been here since kinder or pre-K. And so one of my jobs in 6th grade math, I really believe, is making sure the students have the ability to succeed in math at the upper levels. And so, one important thing that I always do the first week of school is I find out my students' math story. You're like, a math story in math? Like, what is that? But math is kind of a unique subject because people have really strong opinions. Even adults still have strong opinions about math. So I need to find out what my students think about themselves, how well as mathematicians, what they like, what they dislike, what their goals are. And I use that to kind of help them be successful by the end of the school year. So that's really, I start that day one, finding out about them and how I can make them be the best math students possible.
Thanks, Karen. Now, in addition to teaching math, you have another role this year as Kinkaid's Faculty Poet Laureate. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey as a writer? How did you first begin writing poetry?
So I started writing poetry when I was a teenager. I wrote some poems. I think I wrote one about graduation. I remember it was like entered in the county fair. That was kind of cool. I think I still have it in a frame somewhere. But I also wrote poems in college as more like a way to express my emotions, right? And even though I'm a math teacher at Kinkaid, I've been an English teacher at other schools. So, I kind of I've done both. But I really started writing poems again in 2013. I'd spent some time raising my children, and they were big enough now I could just kind of go back to focusing on myself. And so I have a lot of poems that I've written over the years, and sometimes to celebrate, sometimes to share an image, sometimes, just because something needs to be said or as part of a healing journey. And so that's how I look at poetry. And I have loved the last two poet laureates have been wonderful. And so I said, you know what? I think this is my year. I applied. I said, it's time, maybe have a STEM teacher, be the poet laureate. And I was so thrilled that they selected me to be the poet laureate this year. I'm very humbled.
Karen, you shared a very special poem at our opening back to school all staff meeting, and we're excited to hear that poem in its entirety today. But can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration for that poem and some background on that?
Of course. As a teacher, I like to plan ahead, and I'd already had it in mind, kind of what I wanted to write for our opening day. But then, as you mentioned earlier, like when the tragedies happened in Hill Country, and I knew I needed to change it. And I went through a lot of ideas, and it wasn't coming to me. And finally, I think after I'd gone to the funeral, Chloe's funeral, I got the inspiration of picking the title, Let the Circuit Be Unbroken, because I know in my head, I knew there was a hymn called Let the Circle Be Unbroken. But I wanted to also honor my STEM background. So I wrote the poem with that image in my mind. I really wanted the poem to be something that would be kind of healing and bring everyone together on that first day back, all of the faculty and staff.
Okay, listeners, you are in for a treat. Here's Karen LaVohn with Let the Circuit Be Unbroken.
Do you know that feeling? When you are going full speed at home, washing dishes, doing laundry, baking a week's worth of chicken, maybe listening to someone vacuuming, or blaring music, or playing a video game, and you turn on the blender to make yourself a smoothie, and boom, everything turns off because a circuit tripped. You might feel surprised, railed, frustrated, disappointed. Some might even feel panicked. But once you realize what happened, you know you can fix it, even if it means you might need some help from someone who knows more about electrical connections than you do. And before you know it, things are back to normal in your home. Do you know that feeling? When you are going full speed at work, teaching, coaching, planning a budget, sending out letters to families and alumni, cooking food for a few thousand people, cleaning tables or moving furniture, mowing grass, or directing traffic, and boom, the power goes out because something happened on or off campus, something out of your control, maybe an unlucky squirrel or a storm or construction, You might feel surprised, frustrated, unsure how to proceed. Some might feel relieved to have a reprieve from the unceasing daily schedule and make alternate plans until power is restored again. But others have to work twice as hard, making sure everyone is okay, keeping things running, and eventually, power comes back on and things go back to normal. Do you know that feeling? You know, when you are going full speed through life, making plans, working, spending time with family and friends, trying to fit all the joy, experiences, meditation, exercising, games, reading, moments in time, appointments, conversations, dreams. And boom, news hits you that stops you in your tracks. Sometimes the news is amazingly good. A new love, a new member of the family, a prize, recognition, or accolade, maybe a dream come true, and your joy surges. You feel full of energy. The electricity of your success spreads to your close circuit of friends and then outward, rippling through the entire community. But then, when the news is not good, when you don't even know how to react or how to get through the next second, minute, hour, day, and keep functioning, when you are tempted to unplug yourself from everyone and everything breaking the circuit, please stop and consider the unique, amazing family that surrounds you. We, Kinkaid, we the people, power this institution in ways the generators never could. We, every single member of this community, is equally important because a circuit only works when every connection is complete. There will always be people coming and going, parallel circuits working simultaneously, and of course, we all have more important lives outside these gates. But while you are here, I hope you feel connected, truly seen. I hope you know how important you are, not just as an employee, but as a human being. I hope you reach out with the good news and the bad. Let the circuit be unbroken as we enter this school year together, energized with the strength of community and the power of kindness, empathy, and understanding.
That's absolutely beautiful. Getting to hear it in its entirety for a second, even more powerful for me as a listener. So thank you for sharing your gift and those special words. Just beautiful, poignant, relatable. I love the connectivity of that because that really, you're talking about what powers this place, what fuels this place, and it's the people.
It really is.
And your words, I know from talking to my and your colleagues, gave them great strength as we come back after unspeakably difficult summer. But you grounded us and made the connections for us as faculty and staff. So we're forever grateful for that. Thank you again for your special talent.
Jonathan and Karen, thank you both for being on today's show.
Delight to be here today.
I'm very glad.
That wraps it up for today. We'll be back soon with more stories from our Falcon students, families, faculty, and alumni. Be sure to follow us on social media, check out Kinkaid's website, and read the Falcon Flyer for more on how Kinkaid supports our students and our community throughout the year. Thanks for joining us on The Perch.